Welcome to the SEC Unfiltered channel and this January 28th, 2025, Tuesday night. We're in the midst of the season, folks. College basketball, SEC basketball reaction. 3 phenomenal games across the board today. We got Kentucky, the big headliner, the big winner of college basketball tonight. They get a big win on the road at the Tommy Bowl. You also have Texas A&M gets a 65-68 win over the Sooners of Oklahoma. You got Georgia outlasting South Carolina 71-60. Maybe outlasting is the wrong term there for Georgia. They definitely controlled that from start to finish. We're up 14.5. But now we got 3 games. Remember, we're in that midweek kind of bye slump there, folks. I mean, excuse me, take a sip of the old green tea here. I kind of moved to green tea here recently over coffee, folks. But share as you may in the comments from that perspective. But overall, good night. Again, we're splitting it down the middle now for the most nights now. 3 on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday. It's easier to consume. Again, I love 5 games all in one day, but it's just easier, I should say, to consume and digest this all at one point. Again, I'm reacting to this as you guys do, just as we do every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday night. Let's start off with the headliner. Let's go right to it, folks. Kentucky getting the 78-73 win. 10.5, 11-point dogs rolling into this, depending what sports book you were looking at. Just an overall Kentucky, just kind of a culture. Hey, do you have big enough you-know-whats to go get this win? Because they needed it. It had been their 3rd straight loss, dropping them to Alabama, Vandy. Because remember, they were off last midweek. This was a big win. And you felt good about it really from the start. I think the key to this game for Kentucky, folks, hear me out, I think it was the start. The start to this game, not to let that tidal wave of like overwhelming of just like you've seen this happen to Kentucky before when they go on the road, especially under Cal in Knoxville. They would get off to bad starts, let the crowd get into it. They could just never recover. They go on like a maybe 8-0 run, but they couldn't get it to single digits. It's exhausting. This time they kind of led. They kind of controlled the game. And I know they were down 33-30 at half, but it still felt like a game Kentucky was playing their type of game, and you felt like Tennessee just could not shoot the ball into the ocean from a boat tonight. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad, folks. Let's get into it, though. Kentucky shoots 50% from the field, 50% from beyond the arc specifically. We'll talk about him here in a minute. Jackson Robinson coming over, having a big night tonight. 34.7% from the field for the Vols, 24.4% from beyond the arc. Tennessee just 11 for 45. Shot 21 more threes. Did it go mute again? Sorry, folks. Went on mute. Kept muting. Sorry about that. No, I was saying Tennessee had 13 turnovers. Usually that's a recipe for disaster on the road, especially in this league and just really in general on the road in the SEC. That's a recipe for disaster. Let's go to the box score. Look at the Cats here first. I mean, you had all the starters, all 5 of them in double digits. Everyone carried their weight tonight. A phenomenal win. Mark Pope. The more it goes on, man, you're just like, he's just Kentucky's guy. This is a conversation for another time. We're getting a little deeper in here, but you love how he goes in the stands, talks to, just embraces Big Blue Nation because he's a part of it. He is Big Blue Nation. He played there. It is fun to see him. It's a very likable program right now. And I wouldn't say it wasn't for Cal. I still respected the Kentucky program, and I knew most do. But like I've always had a respect for Kentucky. I find myself cheering for them in March a lot. Just because I respect the tradition of the entire program. They're the real blue blood in this conference. They carry that flag. But it is fun to see Mark Pope really embracing it. And that was a fun game to watch. From an offensive shooting standpoint, it could be ugly at times. But Kentucky, with Andrew Carr playing like a minute with a back injury, Lamont Butler's out. This isn't a healthy team. They're staring at 3 straight losses in the face. They get it done. 10.5-point underdogs, 11-point underdogs, depending on where you look. But anyways, 5 starters in double figures. Ainsley Alamorno, 12 points. Amari Williams, 10 points. Otega Owe. I love watching Otega Owe play right now. I do. He was really the only guy that showed up in Nashville on Saturday. 14 points, Jackson Robinson, big from beyond the arc. 4 for 9. 17 points for Jackson. Kobe Bryant had some big ones as well. 18 points as well. Not a lot of bench production, but still, Andrew Carter, it's a thin bench right now. You're banged up. I mean, we saw Travis Perry a lot tonight. He played 5 minutes. I shouldn't say a lot, but he played. He played 5 minutes. For Tennessee, just could really get nothing. Igor Milicic, I remember, he's the X factor. I say he's the ceiling to this offense to determine how well this team is. And I've said it. I just don't trust this Tennessee offense. I really don't. I think it's going to – this team's fight. They're going to be scrapping right now at 4-4 in league play to finish in the top 4 in the league. And that's unlike a Rick Barnes team. And it's okay to have kind of a quote-unquote down year for today. And I'm saying this is a down year from a conference record standpoint. It is. This is still a team fighting for a 1 seed. We're pretty sure Duke, Auburn have those locked up. Alabama, Tennessee, Iowa State, Florida, all fighting for those last 2 number 1 seeds. Tennessee's still right in the thick of it. I'm just talking about they're 500 in conference right now. Usually don't see that from this Tennessee, this Rick Barnes program right now. So just from a conference standpoint, totally different from an NCAA's tournament standpoint. Zakai Ziegler went out with a knee injury. It looked like he might have hyperextended it, but he played the whole second half. This offense just puts a lot of pressure on him. And Chaz Lanier just looks a little soft right now. Doesn't look like he wants to play physical. Even when he attacks the rim, he goes up real hesitant. Even him coming off screens looks real hesitant. Let's call a spade a spade. Even him coming off screens just looked real soft, looked real hesitant right now. I wouldn't like that if I'm Rick Barnes. Again, I saw he came out and defended his team. Hey, even if we play well, we may not win games in this league this year. That's how good the league is. He's right. But they didn't play well tonight. When I saw that, I'm like, I hear you. And that's probably just more coach sake of, hey, he knows his team's probably a little down right now. Coming off 2 losses, tough win at Auburn that they could have won. Tough place to go play. No one wins there. They could have won. Tonight, they could have won you, but you're in a row, right? No one ever wants to lose 2 games in a row. No one wants to lose any games, but much less two games in a row. And you got Florida coming to town on Saturday. I think he knows I got to instill some confidence in this team. I can't go all out because, the confidence in our ability to shoot from beyond the arc right now is a little shot. Offensively right now, they're in a rut. So I think he's kind of like, hey, we're going to lose games, just trying to keep his team's confidence. And I get that. But they didn't play well tonight. But Kentucky gets the 78-73 win. One of the best wins of the year, I think, in the SEC so far. We're not right to the midseason point, but I think Bama winning at Kentucky, Missouri winning at Florida, this one tonight, Kentucky at Tennessee. I think that was a big one as well. So Kentucky getting the big win over Tennessee Volunteers, folks. But remember this reaction, folks. This Tuesday night SEC basketball reaction presented to you by yours truly is presented really by our new title sponsor, FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SEC to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet, guys. We're fired up. They are a new title sponsor. But let's go show them some love, guys. Again, go join today. FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Appreciate you guys joining in tonight, a later night. But let's go to the next one. Let's go to the station. Let's go to the station, folks. Let's go to College Station here. Texas A&M getting the 75-68 win. Again, I was on TexAgs earlier. And David Nuno, one of the better guys in the business, asked me, what was I thinking about Oklahoma? And I kept seeing a more confident team each night. And again, it was recent. They got their 2 conference wins against South Carolina and Arkansas. So it's like you want to see some better competition. Can they do it against someone else? That's arguably the 15th, 16th teams, the 2 bottom teams in the league right now. I was somewhat impressed tonight. Again, down 1 at half. They were in it this entire game. You can tell Jeremiah Fears, Duke Miles, those guys are all getting more comfortable as the time goes on. Again, I may like Oklahoma to make a late season push here. Remember, I think they're still in the NCAA tournament, but I always say there's 4 teams here. Some people may tell me I'm wrong with this Vanderbilt one, but Vanderbilt, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas are the 4 teams that are going to determine how many teams get in from the SEC. It's either going to be anywhere from 10 to 12, in my opinion, because I think 9 are locks. If you want to include Vanderbilt, that's 10. I just think the loss is going to start mounting up for anybody. But the point being, Texas A&M shot 37% from the field, 16% from beyond the arc, 47% from the field, 45% from beyond the arc. Again, I didn't think Oklahoma played bad. Rebounds, just A&M, it's a part of the offense. The offensive rebounds, just a domination on the board. 47-19, that's the difference in the game, folks. 21-2 offensive rebounding advantage for the Aggies. Let me say that again for the folks in the back. 21-2. Just pure domination on the boards. Just pure domination on the boards. Turnovers 13-11. I mean, it's about the same. It's about the same there. I mean, that's where the game was won on the boards right there for Texas A&M. Again, just like Kentucky. All 5 starters in double figures. Pharrell Payne, 10. Henry Coleman, 14. Zurich Phelps, 15. Wade Taylor, 12. Manny Obaseki, 10. Not a ton off the bench outside of Anderson Garcia. But overall, though, I mean, Pharrell Payne, he's been one of the more underrated players in this league, transferring over from Minnesota. I've watched him a million times this year, every game. And he impressed me. It's always like a walking double-double, like 10 to 12 points, anywhere from like 10 to 11 boards. That's what he got tonight, 10 points, 11 boards. It's unbelievable. I mean, he has been a really good player for them this year. A&M just, for whatever reason, from beyond the arc, does not shoot well. I mean, no one did. Zurich Phelps made 1, and they only made 4 threes on the night. They were 4 for 24. Just wasn't good. Wade Taylor 1 for 7. He took most of the high volume of that. Jace Carter was 0 for 5. Yeah. I mean, again, like I say, the 2 teams with the offensive ceilings in this league, A&M and Tennessee. I said that today on Tex Ags as well. And I think that showed today. I think he did. But A&M's part of their offense is getting rebounds, getting second chance buckets off offensive rebounds. I mean, that's what they do. That's what Pharrell Payne does. He gets fouled, go to the free throw line. Henry Coleman does that. Anderson Garcia. They all do. They all go attack the glass, probably outside of Wade Taylor. And he's one of probably the better rebounding guards in the league. So say what you want. Oklahoma, again, wasn't disappointed in their performance. 22 points tonight for Jalen Moore. I mean, I like Jalen Moore. I like Jeremiah Fields. I like Duke Miles at times. I mean, Fears went scoreless tonight, though. Just think if he was just decent, they probably win this game, which is kind of wild to say. But Bryson Goodine, 24 points. He's starting to emerge for him, 5 for 9 from beyond the arc. Again, they didn't shoot bad, folks. 47% from the field, 47.7. Let's round that up to 48%. Hell, and I'll give you 46% from beyond the arc, 45.5. We'll round you up. Not bad. You only turn it over 11 times on the road. Again, I say double digits, but I'm talking about really when I get in that 15, 16 range. It's back-breaking. 11 you can live with, especially against a team like A&M. Just the boards killed you. I think you shot well enough. You got no second chance buckets. You only got 2 offensive rebounds. So, you had to shoot better than 48% from the field and 46% from beyond the arc. If you go into the game if you tell Porter Moser your team shot 48% from the field, 46% from beyond the arc, he's probably like, how much did we win by? But then, hey, coach, you only got 2 offensive rebounds. Well, that's the game, 22-2. That's the game right there, folks. It's the game across the board there. That's not hard to figure out. But a good home win for A&M. They needed it. They improved to 16-5 overall, 5-3 in league play. Oklahoma 15-5, 2-5 in league play. Coming up on Saturday for the Texas A&M Aggies, real quickly at South Carolina. Should be a game you think they should win. But again, I still think at some point South Carolina is going to get somebody. It's not a bad basketball team. It's just dangerous. There's no easy game in this league. For the Sooners, what's coming up this weekend for Porter Moser and the boys? They host Vandy in a game you feel like you got to start collecting some wins. At some point, you got to start collecting some wins. It's a home game. You got to start holding serve at home because look your next 3 games after that. Not getting too far ahead of ourselves, but at Auburn, Tennessee, at Missouri. It's just not going to – it didn't go over too well. Joshy Manning, Davey late night. Yes, sir. Tuesday night reaction, baby. Dave, did the Tex Ags guy cry when they talked to you like they did when they brought on Tom Hart? I saw them kind of getting upset about that. What's the context behind that? Why'd they get mad at Tom Hart? I don't even know the context, but I saw what you're talking about, Joshy, and I appreciate you listening. And it's late night for you too, brother, but you could be anywhere else. You could be looking at the back of your eyelids, but you're not. You're here tonight, jacked up with me, covering a little SEC basketball on Tuesday night. I appreciate you joining us, brother. Would love to hear a little more context on that. But before we move on to our final game, South Carolina, Georgia, just remember, guys, Super Bowl 59 Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Super Sunday, 1 game, 2 teams, endless possibilities. And there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether you're predicting the first touchdown, who will take home the MVP trophy, or the coin toss, FanDuel makes it easy to place your bets and feel the thrill of every moment. With live betting all game long, you can jump into the action, adjust your bets, and ride the wave of excitement from kickoff to the final whistle. Plus, to make the Super Bowl even sweeter, new customers can score $200 when you make your first bet. Just place a $5 bet, and if you win, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com/SECU and bet with FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 59. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with the Kansas Star Casino, 18 plus and present in D.C. First online, real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. And chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.gambling.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Guys, let's move on to our final game of the evening. The Georgia Bulldogs getting the 71-60 home win over the South Carolina Gamecocks. Georgia improves to 15-6, 3-5 overall. They're one of those teams that they couldn't afford to lose a game like tonight. You got to start getting some wins, got to hold serve in general, much less against the team that's winless in league play. And that brings me to South Carolina. Drops to an overall losing record now, 10-11, 0-8. They don't feel like an overall losing record team, though, when you watch them. It's weird. It's not weird. It's just they're not that bad of a basketball team. They're not good, and they're just in a really hard league. It's what it is. But Georgia, 51% from the field, 46.7% from beyond the arc, 41.2% from the field for South Carolina, 23.5% from beyond the arc, so a little cold from beyond the arc. South Carolina out-rebounded Georgia 29-28. Total turnover 17 for South Carolina. That's what I'm saying. That's beyond danger zone. That's terrifying. You're going to lose on the road in this league, turning the ball over 17 times. I mean, Georgia wasn't awesome. They turned it over 12, but 17 on the road, no, sir. You can take that home. Really nothing. Georgia really controlled most of this. Again, South Carolina never led in this game. I think Georgia led from tip to finish. The largest lead here, 17 points here. Georgia had to have this one. That was it. And you were interested, how does South Carolina come back from another close loss? That's 4. But for South Carolina, Silas Demery went off way. 12 points, 4 for 8, 2 for 2 from the other. Dakota LaFew getting back on it. He's one of my favorite shooters in the league. Underrated, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc, 50%. We'll take that from beyond the arc. 14 points, 5 for 10 from beyond the arc. Not much from the bench, though. Dylan James, 10 points. RJ Godfrey, 7 points. And then, it was a double-double night for Ace 17 points, 10 boards. For South Carolina, it was Colin Murray Bulls and really no one else. 18 points. I shouldn't say that. No one else. You had Jamari Thomas. It's really Jamari Thomas and Colin Murray Bulls. Jamari Thomas coming off the bench, but the starters. But you had 0 points from Jacoby Wright, 6 from Zachary Davis, Yuga Sucks 2, and then Nick Pringle 6. But Pringle's never going to give you a bunch of points. But 18 for Colin Murray Bulls, 7 from 11 from the field, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc, 5 overall boards. Just is what it is. South Carolina, again, this was one of their worst performances in league play, in my opinion, overall. It was just one of the worst. Overall, it wasn't a very good performance. They looked tired. They did. That's kind of what they looked like. Real lackadaisical type performance tonight, I would say. I don't know. Again, they've had 4 chances to win games this year, guys. Auburn, if Nick Pringle makes a 1-and-1. Vandy with 2 to 3 minutes at Memorial. We've seen Tennessee and Kentucky both drop games and lose by more than that. Mississippi State in overtime. And then who was the other one? Florida. Yeah, Will Richard at the end. South Carolina was up majority of that game. Amazing they haven't got one of these yet. I think they inevitably will. What's next for the Georgia Bulldogs heading in to the weekend? At Alabama. So a massive opportunity. I think if you're a Georgia fan, if you're Mike White, you see this as an opportunity. Are we going to be favored? No, we're probably going to be double-digit dogs, but like maybe 8-point dogs, something like that. But I lean probably closer to 10, 10.5. Maybe depends what Bama does in Starkville tomorrow. But it's going to be a tough one. And then you got some games on the stretching win. LSU, Mississippi State at home. You'd like to get that Mississippi State one at home. That'd be an interesting one coming up that I think you could get as well. For South Carolina coming up this weekend, South Carolina will host Texas A&M. So, again, it's going to be a long road for Lamont Paris and them this year. I like Lamont Paris, good basketball coach. It's just bad teams find ways to lose games. That's what they are right now. And that is what they are right now. TLD, the 98%ers were mad at Tom because Tom hurt the Ags' feelings during the Texas broadcast. Tom goes on and then gets grilled about why he was so negative about A&M and Tom Cave. Sharman Soft. Lori C., huge win for the Cats. Go Big Blue. It was. That was one of the bigger wins of the SEC conference season so far. Obviously, Kentucky is a bigger win than that and just Duke alone. But still, man, big win. You got to love what Mark Pope's doing. You feel pretty good about the Cats. You feel pretty good about where the Cats are. Pull up the standings here real fast. I'm not going to pull up a grab. I just want to see. All right, we got Kentucky now sits there 4-3. 4-3. Feel pretty good about that. Overall, then you got going down. You just looking at tomorrow. I was just looking at the standings real fast. Kentucky again, kind of in a rut. They're not going to go compete for the league title. Neither. Certainly Tennessee now at 4-4 is not. But man, Kentucky's going to fight for that top 4 spot. And I think Tennessee's going to be scrapping to finish in the top 4. I think it's kind of where we're sitting right now. Just a quick look ahead to tomorrow's action. Let me pull it up. Yep, here we go. Going to tomorrow's action, Auburn at LSU. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern. I think that line, let me see what FanDuel has as the line, because I want to pull these up for you folks. FanDuel. So we got for this one, I saw it earlier. I want to say maybe it's 10.5, 12.5. Let's see, Auburn. Here we go. Yeah, 12.5. So Auburn's 12.5 point favorite right now. Then you also got Alabama at Mississippi State. Alabama, this line opened up. I swear I saw it earlier. Bama was favored or was getting 1 point. Now I look on our buddies over at FanDuel. Bama's favored by 1.5. This is totally flipped in the last 2 hours now, 2 to 3 hours since I saw it. So I'm glad I looked that up live reaction. You see my live reaction to that. And then finally the Ole Miss Texas matchup again. That'll be 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Ole Miss currently favored by 5.5. As they host the Texas Longhorns, Chris Beard's old team, folks. So that's a storyline we hadn't really talked about. But that's what we got in store tomorrow. I will see you all tomorrow night. Guys, I appreciate you joining me on this Tuesday night reaction. Again, big winners of the night. Mark Pope, Kentucky, massive win. Had to have it. Back against the wall. Your leader at the point guard spot, Lamont Paris, is out. Andrew Carr plays a minute. Back injury, just big time. Big time. Tennessee. Offense still worries me, folks. Offense still worries me. A&M had to have it at home tonight against Oklahoma. Still not disappointed in Oklahoma. Again, I think they're getting better, getting more confident. Georgia had to have it tonight at home. So hosting South Carolina is a game you can't afford to lose right now when you're trying to get an NCAA tournament. And just South Carolina just has one of their worst performances in league play, like I said earlier, and they just continue to do what bad teams do. They just lose basketball games. But, guys, for your host, Dave Shumate, I will see you all tomorrow night to react to all 3 games from Wednesday night's action. But for Dave Shumate and the SEC Unfiltered channel, remember, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. There is not a better SEC entity out there in football, basketball, baseball. About 2 weeks out, Harrison Fant, Chris Phillips will ride you for that. We'll ride you through that entire spring for the baseball season. But, guys, the road to 20,000 subscribers, I highly encourage you. If you don't already subscribe, go to the YouTube channel. Hey, subscribe, then go tell us how we can get better. Because, again, we want to be the best SEC entity to you. We already think we are. Hey, but you can always get better. But for Dave Shumate, I'll see you all tomorrow night.